One of the most valuable aspects of fitness advice is addressing what happens when things go wrong, and the reality is that nearly everyone falls off their exercise routine at some point. How you handle these lapses determines whether you achieve long-term fitness or remain in a cycle of starting and stopping. The advice to not worry if you skip a few days is psychologically crucial, but often difficult to internalize. Many people operate with all-or-nothing thinking. They believe they're either successfully exercising according to their plan, or they've failed completely. This cognitive distortion turns temporary setbacks into permanent abandonments. If you miss 3 days and interpret that as total failure, you might not exercise for 3 months. But if you see it as a brief interruption, you restart immediately. The suggestion to start small with 3 consecutive days of activity is smart behavioral strategy. When you've been away from exercise, the psychological barrier to restarting can feel enormous. Committing to just 3 days makes the restart feel manageable rather than overwhelming. You're not committing to exercising perfectly forever, you're just committing to 3 days. Most people can do 3 days of almost anything. This approach also recognizes that rebuilding a habit is different from building it initially. You have some muscle memory, both literal and psychological, from your previous exercise period. Starting with 3 days allows you to reconnect with those patterns without the pressure of immediately returning to your former frequency or intensity. However, let's address what this advice doesn't mention. Why you fell behind matters for how you should restart. If you stopped because of illness, injury, or major life stress like a job loss or family crisis, you may need a more gradual restart than someone who just lost motivation or got busy. Context matters. If you stopped due to injury, jumping back to 3 consecutive days of activity might be exactly the wrong approach. You may need medical clearance, physical therapy, and a very gradual progression that starts with movement much gentler than your previous routine. The Apple Watch can help you track this gradual return, but it can also tempt you to progress too quickly because you want to return to your former activity levels. If you stopped because the exercise you were doing was unpleasant or unsustainable, restarting the exact same routine is likely to lead to the same result. This is an opportunity to reevaluate what types of exercise you might actually enjoy and maintain long-term, rather than what you think you should do. The 3-step restart plan referenced in the infographic presumably includes strategies like setting realistic goals, preparing your environment, and scheduling exercise time. These are valuable, but they work better for some people than others. Not everyone responds well to structured planning. Some people restart better with spontaneous activity rather than rigid schedules. One critical aspect of restarting that's often overlooked is addressing the shame or guilt you might feel about having stopped. These negative emotions can make restarting feel like an admission of failure, which creates resistance. It's important to recognize that interruptions in exercise are normal. They happen to virtually everyone, including elite athletes, and they don't define your worth or potential. The Apple Watch's data can be a double-edged sword when restarting. On one hand, you can see your previous activity levels and feel motivated to return to them. On the other hand, comparing your restart performance to your peak performance can be discouraging. You might feel frustrated that activities that used to feel easy now feel hard. A more sophisticated restart approach considers not just getting back to exercise, but learning from why you stopped. What made continuing difficult? Were your goals unrealistic? Was your routine too rigid? Did you lack social support? Did you fail to account for seasonal changes or other life patterns? Using a break as an opportunity for reflection can help you design a more sustainable approach when you restart. The fundamental principle is that restarting is a skill worth developing because you'll need it multiple times throughout your life. Life changes, priorities shift, health issues arise, motivation wanes. The difference between people who maintain fitness long-term and those who don't isn't that the former never stop. It's that they've developed the ability to restart quickly without catastrophizing the interruption. If you're currently in a position of needing to restart, focus on taking the first step without overthinking the entire future. Don't wait for Monday or the first of the month or after your next vacation. Start today with a 10-minute walk. Then do another one tomorrow. Then the next day. 3 days of small activity creates forward momentum that makes the fourth day easier. From there, you gradually rebuild.